Okay, today's topic is the end of the affair, which sounds like a really trashy movie. The End of the Affair, starring Meryl Streep as Patty and Jason Robards as her father, also starring Sissy Spacek and Robert Conrad, and William Conrad as the bus driver. The end of the affair. Okay, so it also reminds me of an Alan Alda movie. That previous movie doesn't exist, just so you know. The End of the Affair. I just made that up. It's not an existent movie, but there might be a title of the movie because that just sounds like a really trashy movie. The other movie I was thinking of, a real movie, was The Seduction of Joe Tynan with Alan Alda, and I can't remember what it was. It was maybe 1980. Anyway, in my movie, The End of the Affair, my version of it, I forget about all those other actors and all that crap. We're going to start new. The End of the Affair. Oh, I don't know. Okay, we're going to go with it's a trashy movie. And we're going to talk about Meryl Streep. And she has had an affair. It's a lesbian affair. She had it in her college days. And it was an experiment. And she went on and she got married. And she had two children, two girls. And she suppressed the whole idea of her affair with her girlfriend. And she never told her husband, and her friends never knew. It wasn't too much of a big affair. It was maybe, I don't know, 3 months of. Is that an affair? 3 months? 3 months. And so she had it when she was 19. Meryl Streep turns 35, and she's walking out of a coffee shop, and walking into the coffee shop is her ex-girlfriend. Meryl Streep is with her husband, and there's a look of like, and she doesn't know what to do. She's like a deer in the headlights, you know. Her husband is a conservative banker and pretty much homophobic. And Meryl Streep, she just kind of shakes her head and, just, closes in like this. And she pretends that she didn't see her ex-girlfriend. Her ex-girlfriend is quite open and smiles at her, and she's kind of bemused and not really shocked, but just bemused. It's like, we used to be like a thing many years ago, and I thought you'd be happy to see me. I haven't seen you for so many years. And okay, so then later let's say a week later, Meryl Streep is going through her old, she's got a shoebox full of all her college keepsakes. So, like her yearbook from, she stayed in a college residence. There's a yearbook there, and there's a bunch of just stuff, that she collected from the time when she was in residence at her college. And there's a picture of her and her ex girlfriend. And she looks at it, and she looks at it, and she picks it up in her hand, and she's looking at this photograph. She's, if this was the photograph, she's looking at this photograph. It's not a photograph, but this is my prop, okay? So she's looking at the photograph, and she's like, she's having a hard time breathing. She's like, and she's like, she feels almost like frozen. She's frozen, and this, and she keeps looking at this picture, and she doesn't know what to do because she doesn't feel good about this. She keeps looking at this picture. She puts the picture down. Imagine that's a photograph. She puts it down, and she looks at some of the other stuff in the box, and then she quickly, she takes the box and she just shoves it away. And she turns around and she leaves the storeroom where that is. And the camera goes back, and imagine that's the book, the shoebox with it. In this case, it's a Toltec oracle. But she leaves the room, and okay, next thing they do is they cut to her ex-girlfriend. Her ex-girlfriend is in a relationship with another woman, and they don't have any children, but they have a cat. They live in the same city, and they, as Meryl Streep, and they start talking about this incident, where one of them saw their ex-girlfriend from college, and their ex-girlfriend from college clearly recognized her, was with a man, probably her husband, and froze up and didn't acknowledge her former girlfriend. Okay, so that's the premise of the end of the affair, and it's a real cheesy movie, It's like, it's a relationships movie, and I always call them relationships. The I don't know, what is the takeaway from this kind of a movie? Um, if you've got a box somewhere of stuff like yearbooks from your high school or college days, I would like you to go and find it. Go and find it and go through it. And if there's a yearbook, flip through it and look to see for pictures of people you knew way back in the day. And see if you have some kind of emotional reaction to seeing these people. I'm going to bet you do. To at least one or two of the people that you see. You're going to have an emotional reaction. I just bet. But, it's just my bet. And I'm not going to bet you money. It's just like saying you bet or you bet. And if you do have, you're looking at a picture. Imagine this is a picture. And you're looking at the picture and you're having an emotional reaction. Try to breathe through it. Do deep breathing. And see if you can get the emotion that's attached to whatever this picture is of to come up into your conscious mind. Because if you feel frozen, breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe, and keep focusing on the picture and see if you can figure out what the stuck emotion is. I know that there are plenty of stuck emotions that we have from people we've met in the past. And if you can get these to come up into your consciousness, you can release these stuck emotions. If you leave these stuck emotions suppressed, they're going to come out anyway, and at an inappropriate time when you least want them to. Like you might be having dinner with your family, and all of a sudden you're going to get this crazy memory, and it's going to be like very disturbing, and everyone's going to be looking at you because your mind is not going to be on the dinner. Your mind is going to be way back in your college or high school days. And you might be having a hard time processing, trying to figure out what the hell is this all about. But these pictures from, let's say from age 12 to age 28, 12 to 28, are going to have a lot of emotions attached to them because you are still growing in these age categories, and you were learning about relationships with people. And the biggest thing with them is you had a lot of broken hearts. People who you thought you were going to be your friends for life might have turned around and stabbed you in the back, or you just had a really bad breakup, or you thought they were your partner and they cheated on you, all kinds of things. And your inner child learned that you cannot trust other people. That's the number one lesson that you got from all of these things. You cannot trust people. And so what you did is you built a mask to wear around people, which protects you from ever being hurt by people again. And this mask that you wear is toxic to you because it stops you from being authentic. And it's all about protecting your ego back in those days, because your ego is all about self-protection. And once you found out that humans are, despite being so friendly and so beautiful, will stab you in the back, you built this armor. You built armor. And this is like plate armor from old-fashioned days, made of steel. And it's stopping you from being yourself. So the cure for it is to go and find these pictures. If you've got a lot of old photo albums, go through them. Take a whole Saturday and go through this stuff and see if you got some kind of emotional reaction by seeing some of these pictures or some of these mementos from way back when. Breathe through them. Breathe through them. If you start to cry, have a good cry, because you need to release these stuck emotions. Where are the emotions stuck? They're actually stuck in your body. They're stuck in your body, and stuck emotions in your body will cause disease in your body. And you don't want to get sick. And these things will make you sick because you suppress these things. It was, basically how you protected yourself. I don't want to remember these horrible incidents of one of my younger years. So you suppress them, but they're still active in your, let's call it your subconscious mind. They're still active there. And you have to deal with them. You've got to process them. And now that you're older, how are you going to process them? Breathe through them. See if you want to cry. If you want to cry, don't be afraid to cry. If they make you laugh, wonderful. But this is called clearing the past. And this is a technique for healing you, healing your inner child. And when you can let go of the toxic emotion from these events from the past, you'll find that you can lose the armor that you're wearing now that you created when you were younger and you didn't know how to deal with relationships. Then you can become more of who you really are now. You're less likely to develop some kind of I don't know what kind of disease you're going to get, but stuck emotions will cause disease in you. Not necessarily in the other people that were involved, but possibly. Can you clear the emotional charge on a picture that makes you cry for the other person? Yes, possibly. You can do some clearing for them too. And by you looking at it, it's going to tickle them. If there's an emotional charge on that picture from way back in the day, if you look at it and you're getting like your body's shaking, or you feel like you're going to cry, or you can't breathe, breathe, deep breathing, keep going with it. And if it's too much, put it down. Go away from the room and try and calm down. Go get a couple of glasses of water, and try not to ignore it though. Try to go back to it and see if you can get the whole emotional charge out of it. And by you looking at that picture that has the stuck emotion related to it in you, it's going to tickle that same event and the other people that were involved in the event in the present moment. It's going to come to their memory because you are focusing it on it. And the power of your focus is going to drag that thing up, that event up into their memories because they're going to have to deal with it at the same time. Is it going to cause them to give you a phone call? Nobody knows. I mean, maybe they can't get a hold of you, but it's going to definitely come up for them, whatever it is, because you're clearing it. And they have to be aware that there was something there coming up for clearing. How long will they see it? If you do a good job of clearing all the toxic emotion, it might not even come up for them. But if you're having a hard time processing it and you're doing, I mean, you couldn't deal with it. You put it down, you went down for a glass of, or two of water, you came back and you were still having a hard time with it. Then there's still a lot of energy in there and you're having a hard time processing it. For sure, it will come up for the other people that were involved with the event, for sure. And they're going to have to process it their own way. They're going to get the memory and they're going to get the feeling about it and they're going to go, what the hell is this all about? And, if it was something from high school or college, probably they don't even live in the same city as you, but you're all connected. You're all connected, and these events in the past have got to be cleared because they're toxic energy and, they won't clear themselves. Only a human can clear them. Now, if I was looking at a picture of somebody, one of my ancestors, someone who's dead, and I've got a emotional charge off of a picture. When this happened to me, I was kind of surprised. But I looked at some pictures of some of my relatives that have passed on, and they had really strong emotional charges on them. What am I to do? Deep breathe. See if the emotion, whatever it is, wants to come up. See if I get some memories. See if I get, as I'm going about my day over the next, I don't know, it might even be the next few months, this thing might come up and come up to my memory. Because maybe there's just some other thing that reminds me of the same thing. Try and breathe through it. If it makes you angry, it's okay to be angry, to feel the emotion. When you feel the emotion, whether it's sadness, anger, sorrow, whatever it is, feel the emotion. Breathe through it, process the emotion. And then once it's processed, do you have to do it more than one time? It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say. If it keeps coming up, there's probably some other things that are linked to it. It's so you thought, well, I cleared the emotion related to this event. It's probably got connections to other events that have got toxic emotions. So if you spend some time meditating, quietly meditating, and have this thing in mind when you first go into meditation, see if you can get the links to the other things that need to be cleared. All the benefits are going to accrue to you and the other people in the event, and it's going to help you move on. It's going to help you become more authentic. It'll help you drop your armor, help you make you feel better. You're going to start losing a lot of anxiety. A lot of anxiety is due to events that happened to you when you were younger and you didn't have the skills to deal with feeling like you were ostracized or feeling like somebody hated you, bullied you, all the things that happen to you when you're young. And that's where the anxiety comes from when you're an adult. It's unprocessed emotion that's in your body and you don't know what it's about. So this is a hint. Go back, and the other thing you can do is whatever years where you're, say, your teenage years, your 20s years, or if you were really abused as a child, maybe when music that was going on when you were 6 years old. So whatever year that was, when you were feeling like there was having a really hard time, see if you can find the music. So go to like Billboard. Billboard has a list of the top like 200 songs of each individual year. Look down the list of those of those songs that were popular in those years when you were young. And if you feel like it, you can go on to YouTube and play the song. See if the song triggers something for you. Smells are very good at bringing out memories. So if you lived in a certain neighborhood in your town, go to that part of your town and maybe go for a walk near, if you lived in an apartment or a house in that part of town, go for a walk in that area where you used to live. Because there might be some smells of trees, or I don't know, maybe there's a bakery or a supermarket or a garage. There's some kind of smells that you smelt when you were a child. Smell is a really good way to trigger memories. If you were young and you liked um, licorice and you haven't eaten licorice for a long time, buy some licorice. If you had some kind of a child's perfume or fragrance or something that you used, buy some of it, spray it, and see if you get a memory. If someone in your household smoked cigarettes or cigars, buy some. Smell the cigarette tobacco. You don't have to light it, but smell the tobacco. The smell of the tobacco, and if you want to burn it, and you don't have to smoke it, but you could just burn it in a bowl or something and just get a whiff of it. See if the smell of the tobacco smoke brings back some memories. If there was a favorite food that you ate. When I was a boy, I loved peanut butter and honey sandwiches. I don't like honey anymore, it's too sweet. But if there was something like that that you ate every day, you ate oatmeal or you ate Fruit Loops or something, and you haven't had it since you were a kid, buy it, eat it, and then see if you get some memories. If you went on a trip somewhere when you were a child, go on Google. Like maybe you went to Disney World when you were 12 or something. Go to Google, look up Disney World, and look on images. Look at pictures to see if anything comes up from the pictures. I mean, nobody really expects you to go back to every place you were when you were a child. You can use Google and look at the images for these places that you went to. If there was, your old school, you haven't been around there, go to your old school, drive to your old school, park the car, and go for a walk around your old school. See if there's any memories that come up. Whatever you were involved in, if you were swimming when you were a young kid, go to the pool where you swam. You'll smell the chlorinated water, perhaps, and it might bring back some memories. All these kind of ideas are helping you to clear the past. And you clear the past, you are much better able to be in the now, and that is going to serve you. That's your wisdom teaching for today. I'm Harry Weaver.